patrol. And are you going to be able to recruit? Can you get people to come out of patrol and into the IG? Well, Julie just promoted her first lieutenant back to the field. And that was a commitment that we made, that if you come and join this elite group of people, you're going to get extra training, you're going to get some extra doodads, but we're going to let you go back. You haven't stepped off into no man's land where you're not part of the division. So I think that was really important. State aviation consolidation. The idea here, we've got an agency that has 3 planes, we've got an agency that's got about 20 planes, we've got the patrol that has 6 planes. They're all over the place. We have the Department of Agriculture that has nothing to do with law enforcement that has a whole bunch of planes. Commissioner Putnam, bless his heart, looked at me and said, okay, I'll play. I'll put all my toys in with the law enforcement toys and let's see where it comes out. This is one recommendation that went to the legislature that was not acted on, and I anticipate that it will be acted on next session, or at least given another look. With the report being done in December in the early session, a lot of our stuff didn't get to the right place quickly. But what we did recommend was an aviation group that makes sure that we're all buying gas cheaply and efficiently, that we're sharing hangar space where we can. We want to look at a shared resources concept where we have air stations that support all the agencies instead of everybody building all of those silos up and spending money redundantly. And so I think we're going to do something with these. We looked at training, and the biggest recommendation with training is FDLE has a lot of their mandatory research courses, I think all their mandatory research courses out, online. And to have a requirement that all law enforcement officers take it online. And when the patrol shifted much of this online 2 years ago, we had an immediate recurring savings of about $40,000 a year. Travel, we do the high liability face-to-face still, but not the research training for FDLE. The last team was vehicle fleet management and logistics. The first thing I tried to do, and I found a fee source to do it, and I haven't convinced the legislature that they need to give up some of their general revenue. I'm trying to establish, either get a commitment for general revenue or establish a trust fund. The governor's office doesn't like trust funds. And so a new trust fund was a heavy lift, but get a dedicated source to replace law enforcement vehicles. And then have some criteria where we share. And across the enterprise, when we looked at this, there are folks that have a 5% spare vehicle rate up to 40%. And you can't tell me that some of those cars sitting there vacant just waiting to be used, that somebody else isn't more desperate because they've got a $160,000 or 160,000 mile vehicle chasing up and down the interstate. So looking again, purchasing, we talked to DMS at length that they've got to get their contracts out in a more timely manner, reducing the number of vehicles and types to reduce expenses, change the criteria for pursuit vehicles. I don't think we need as many pursuit vehicles as we claim, and the non-pursuit vehicles are a lot cheaper. To just do a better job of purchasing and then assessing where all the vehicles are in the state and using them. So this is another one that the legislature was very interested in OPB. They just couldn't get to it this session, and this one will pop up again. And I'll still keep fussing about a fee source for this, so we don't have our law enforcement officers in vehicles going 100 miles an hour in something that has 160,000 miles on it. It's not right. And we have those out there. So we stood up a new team a week ago that's not in the original 13. The other thing that's happening, and again, think about enterprise-wide, and Linda, you will appreciate this, the whole slurs concept. We have a vendor that has a 20-year contract, And this vendor is trying to hold us in 20th century equipment. So we have an opportunity to get some federal dollars to move us into the 21st century and maybe plan for something for 22nd century. And this is moving from 800 megahertz to Project 25 to LTE technology. So you'd actually have officers that have something that looks like a smartphone, that's their radio. That technology is 5, 6, 7 years away. But we can build the infrastructure for it, the LTE infrastructure for data, and then work on the radio later. So we stood a team up to help DMS, one, to spend some money this year, but also to start to push to make some early decisions on what the state radio system should be. And I asked the team, personally, I'm outsourcing driver's license work to tax collectors. When I took over, I could not understand why you can get your driver's license in the Kirkman building, and in the strip mall right behind the Kirkman building, you could go to Doris Malloy's office and get your tag and your title. Every community in every county is like this, or they're a block away. It's my money, it's Doris's money. It's not. It's your money. Every single dime that is spent for Joe Lunchbucket walking up and down the road in their county is their money. So we thought the same thing with the radio system. We have counties, municipalities investing in radio systems for their police chiefs and for their sheriffs. And then you have the state of Florida that plops back in the same county and puts its own towers up. And so we need a system-to-system process to utilize resources in a county for all the law enforcement entities. And that's going to be a tough sell. We've got to get people to share. We've got to get the vendors to share. So this team that's their job. Look at it enterprise-wide, create some efficiencies, and make some recommendations that make sense so it's a good use of the general public's money. I happen to be in a fairly good revenue situation right now. I'm probably one of the few agencies that can say that I have cash in the bank. And it's because the economy's turning around and people are buying cars. People are buying new cars. And a lot of the revenue that I collect comes from that new car sales. And so I have, and I've told the legislature this, I have cash in the bank to support this as an enterprise-wide project. And it's not my money. It's the state of Florida's money. So if I can bring forward a plan that can pay for something that saves everybody else money, I'm fine with that. And you'll find more and more highway safety is going to try to start these enterprise-wide projects. Each one of your CEOs is going to be visited by David Wilkins. The governor has appointed Secretary Wilkins from Children and Families as his new Chief Operating Officer. You probably saw that in the news clips. He is looking for ways to improve government, and that's in contracting, that's in accounting processes. He's looking at talent management. I think it's about, I was told like 45 minutes to an hour. I had to stand up here and you probably know, it's not hard for me to talk for an hour. Secretary Wilkins is going to rely on agencies to help him bring some enterprise-wide projects to the governor. And so when he met with me, we talked about slurs of the state radio system, we talked about CAD. I am also heavily investing in what I call a return on investment for my HR section. And so we hired monster.gov, which is a subset, it's the commercial version of monster.com, to do job task analysis on our 40 largest position descriptions. And we're buying a talent management system. In fact, this week we're previewing it. And DMS has been shadowing this because I think it's something that we could use in every agency. But I want to start to promote from within. We're not getting pay raises anytime soon. The only way to get a pay raise is to either promote or change jobs because you've increased your skills and abilities. And right now, I will be very honest with you, my supervisors suck at telling people how well they're performing, how they can do a better job, and sitting down and asking, what do you want to do? And so we're going to really push hard, and Secretary Wilkins wants to use this also as an opportunity statewide to start to, I hate the empower word, but educate and inform agencies on how to strengthen their workforce. In a better educated, a more empowered, a stronger workforce is going to help us create efficiencies. And so his thought is there's any number of things that we can be doing between ourselves. He's meeting with every CEO to see who's doing what, and do a better job of communicating best practices between agencies. And I guess he's doing this with no staff, no extra pay. So he's a good troop. That's all I can say. So we're going to lend him some help, and I think there's a lot of good stuff going on. But who knows what's going on in an agency, soup to nuts, better than you guys. And if you can start to think in this manner, creating efficiencies, bringing things forward that goes, I don't know why we've been doing this. Why don't we do it this way instead of this way? You know more about what goes on across the enterprise through those silos than anybody. And I would challenge you to start to raise your hand and go, I heard about something from Julie Latheris that they're doing in highway safety. What if we give this a try? They're going to give it to us. So why don't we give it a try? So efficiencies, thinking outside the box, and I got to tell you, my last comment on the governor. I am no shrinking violet, and it's kind of a joke when I walk in there because he tries to get one on me before I get one on him. He is a genuine, open, honest person with no agenda. I keep looking for an agenda and there isn't one. And so it really is the real deal to ask for new ideas, to ask about doing business differently. It will go someplace if you want it to. The resistance that I've had in the agency with change is, okay, we've been surveyed. I've been here 30 years. I mean, this is the 5th time I've been surveyed. Nobody ever does anything with it. Well, we're doing stuff in highway safety with it, and the governor's expectation for all of us is to do something with it. Do business differently. Relative to IGs, Melinda reported out to the task force the last 30th of March, and we pretty much told her, thank you very much. You know, you've reported back on the law enforcement piece of this, but I told Melinda to keep coming back and using the task force to further your agenda, and I will make that commitment as long as the task force is running to make sure that we're supporting you. So thank you for having me. I don't usually get to see you guys, or you know, IGs from other agencies very much. It was a pleasure.
Very much, Director Jones. I'd like to give you a small token, and I mean small, of our appreciation here, but it'd be great if you put that in one of your cars, and when you open it up, you can be carrying around the Association of Inspectors General logo on your umbrella.
Perfect. We have one pool car for the whole of the executive office, and it doesn't have an umbrella, so that's where it's going.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
For those of you who missed your CPE certificates when you came in today, they're on the table on your way out. Thank you very much for coming to lunch, and we'll see you next time.